What if I told you that in just 4 months, your entire life could look unrecognizable? 4 months, 120 days. That's all it takes to rewrite your story. The problem isn't that you need more time. It's that you've wasted too much convincing yourself that you're not ready. You don't need another year. You don't need perfect timing. You need 4 months of laser focus, consistency, and belief. Most people spend years wishing for change, while the rare few decide to make it happen, one disciplined day at a time. And today, that choice belongs to you. The next 4 months can become the most defining chapter of your life if you truly commit, because transformation doesn't begin when you feel ready. It begins the moment you decide you've had enough of living below your potential. Month 1 will be the hardest. You'll feel resistance. Your old habits will try to pull you back, and your comfort zone will whisper, "Take it easy." But don't listen. The pain you feel now is not punishment. It's the process of rebirth. Every time you push through, you're breaking a piece of your old self and building someone stronger. In month 2, the world begins to feel different. You wake up earlier, your mind feels sharper, and your energy shifts. You start realizing how much power you actually have when you stop giving it away to laziness, fear, and distractions. You begin to move with purpose. The same things that once drained you now inspire you, because discipline has become your new oxygen. By the 3rd month, you're no longer chasing motivation. You've built momentum. You start attracting better opportunities, stronger people, and deeper peace. The version of you that once overthought everything now acts with clarity. The world hasn't changed. You have. Your confidence grows not because life gets easier, but because you've proven you can handle what once broke you. And then comes month 4, where it all comes together. The results start showing not just in what you do, but in who you are. You look back and realize the person who started this journey no longer exists. You've become more focused, more patient, more powerful. People begin to notice, but they don't see the early mornings, the sacrifices, the silent battles you fought when no one was watching. They only see the glow that comes from growth. And that's the beauty of the grind. 4 months of discipline can do what years of excuses never will, because greatness doesn't come from luck, it comes from daily effort. Every workout, every page read, every time you said no to comfort, it counted. You've planted the seeds, now the results are blooming. What if today was the day everything changed? What if this moment, right now, was the one where you finally decided you've had enough of being average, enough of watching your potential slip through your fingers, enough of saying all day, when you know deep down that day may never come? Because the truth is, change doesn't begin with a plan, it begins with a decision. One single, unshakable, unstoppable decision that says, no more waiting. I'm taking control. You see, most people spend their lives waiting for the right time, the right motivation, the right sign. But the ones who actually transform their lives don't wait for signs. They become the sign. They stop asking for permission and start creating their own opportunities. They realize that no one is coming to save them. No miracle is on the way, and no external force is going to hand them the life they dream of. The real power lies within the moment they decide that enough is enough. That's the difference between the dreamer and the doer. The dreamer talks about change, the doer becomes change. And that moment of decision, it's quiet, It doesn't come with fireworks or applause. It comes in silence, in the middle of your frustration, when you look at your reflection and say, "I'm done wasting time." It's not dramatic, it's decisive. Because the truth is, you don't need a new year or a new month. You just need a new mindset, and that can begin in a single heartbeat. When you finally make that decision, something shifts inside you. It's like a light switch turning on in a dark room. You see the truth for the first time, that the life you want isn't waiting for luck. It's waiting for you. You realize that you've always had the power. You just never believed in it long enough to use it. You stop playing victim to your circumstances and start taking ownership of your choices, because when you take ownership, everything changes. Think about it. Every success story you've ever heard, every person who turned their life around, every individual who went from nothing to something, they all have one thing in common. They made a decision. Not a weak wish, not a temporary burst of motivation, but a decision so strong that it made every excuse irrelevant. They didn't know how everything would work out, but they didn't need to. They just knew they couldn't stay where they were. The decision to change isn't about confidence. It's about commitment. You don't need to feel ready, you just need to act ready. Because action creates clarity, and clarity builds momentum. You'll never have all the answers at the start. But that's what makes the journey powerful. Every small step forward begins to unlock parts of you that you never knew existed. You'll stumble, yes. You'll fall. But once you've made that decision in your soul, quitting is no longer an option. Imagine waking up tomorrow and saying, "This is it. I'm done talking. I'm done waiting. I'm done settling." Imagine what would happen if, for the next 4 months, you lived like your future depended on every choice you made. Because it does. That one decision, to take control, to commit, to change, can alter the entire direction of your life. And the most beautiful part, you don't need to see the whole staircase. You just need to take the first step with faith that the next one will appear. You might not believe it yet, but that one decision has power. It carries energy. The universe responds to decisiveness. When you commit fully, when your thoughts, actions, and energy align, you start attracting opportunities that match your new mindset. People will begin to notice something different about you. They won't be able to explain it, but they'll feel it. Because when you decide, truly decide, you vibrate differently. You carry conviction in your voice, fire in your eyes, and confidence in your walk. You stop seeking validation and start radiating certainty. But remember this, decisions are easy to make when they're convenient. The real test comes when it's uncomfortable, when you're tired, when you're uncertain, when it's easier to fall back into old habits. That's when most people give up. But not you. Because once you've decided, once you've drawn that line in the sand, there's no going back. You start walking with purpose. Every challenge becomes a teacher. Every setback becomes feedback. Every failure becomes fuel. That decision becomes your anchor. It keeps you grounded when the storm hits. It reminds you why you started when your mind starts whispering excuses. It becomes your inner voice saying, "I didn't come this far to quit halfway." Because change isn't made in grand moments, it's made in daily choices. It's made in those quiet mornings, when no one's watching, when it's just you, your thoughts, and your decisions staring you in the face. And the best part, Once you've made that kind of decision once, you can never go back to living small again. You've tasted power. You've felt alignment. You've seen what happens when you believe in yourself enough to act without hesitation. That's when you realize you never needed more time. You just needed to decide. So right now, wherever you are, close your eyes for a moment and picture the life you want, not the one you think you deserve based on your past, but the one you know you're capable of creating. See it. Feel it. Then make the decision to show up, the decision to do the work, the decision to become the version of yourself that no longer asks, "What if?" but says, "Watch me." Because everything you're searching for, peace, success, growth, purpose, it's all waiting on the other side of one powerful decision. The decision that says, "I'm done waiting for change. I am the change." There's a truth most people don't want to hear. Time is passing whether you use it or not. Every minute that slips away is one you'll never get back. And what you choose to do with those minutes decides the direction of your entire life. 4 months might sound short, but in reality, it's enough time to completely reinvent yourself. The question is, will you let those months pass by like all the others, or will you decide that this time you'll make them count? Imagine this. You wake up tomorrow and make one simple promise to yourself. For the next 4 months, I'm giving everything I've got. Not halfway effort, not inconsistent motivation. Everything. You make a pact with your future self that no matter how tired, how uncertain, or how uncomfortable it gets, you will not stop, because you finally understand that time will not wait for you. The days will keep moving, the weeks will keep passing, and before you know it, another season of your life will be gone. The only question that matters is, what will you have to show for it? Most people underestimate the power of a few focused months. They think transformation takes years, when in truth, it's about intensity, not duration. 4 months of obsession can outdo 4 years of inconsistency. 4 months of discipline can rewrite your entire identity, but you have to want it so badly that you're willing to trade comfort for growth, excuses for execution, and fear for focus. Because once you do, time stops working against you and starts working for you. Picture yourself 4 months from now. Picture waking up and realizing you stuck with it. You showed up when it was hard. You did what you said you'd do. Your body feels stronger, your mind sharper, your purpose clearer. You can see the reflection of your commitment staring back at you in the mirror. That version of you isn't luck. It's built. It's earned through consistency when motivation fades, through sacrifice when distractions call, through effort when no one's watching. The difference between the person you are now and the person you could be in 4 months is what you do in the next 120 days. That's it. Not your talent, not your circumstances, not your background, your choices. Time doesn't reward intention, it rewards action. You can have the best plan in the world, but if you don't execute, it means nothing. You can dream endlessly, but dreams without deadlines fade into regret. And one day, you'll look back and realize that the time you were waiting for was already gone. Every second that passes is an opportunity to close the gap between who you are and who you want to be. Every day you waste is a day your future self will wish you had back. The scary part is that time doesn't pause for indecision. It keeps moving while you hesitate, while you overthink, while you scroll, while you make excuses. The people who change their lives understand this. They treat every day like it's currency, and they spend it wisely. Here's the harsh truth. The next 4 months are going to pass, whether you do something or not. You can wake up 120 days from now feeling proud of your effort or disappointed by your inaction. The time will move either way. The difference lies in how you move. Are you going to let the months slip away again, repeating the same habits, the same distractions, the same comfort cycles? Or will this be the moment you finally take control and decide that time works for you, not against you? There's power in urgency. When you realize how limited time really is, your focus sharpens. You stop wasting it on things that don't align with your goals. You stop waiting for motivation and start moving with purpose. You understand that every hour counts. You stop chasing perfection and start chasing progress, because progress compounds. The more you do, the more momentum you build. And momentum is the closest thing to magic in real life. Think about it. What could you build in 4 months if you truly went all in? How much could your health improve? How much could your mindset evolve? How many habits could you replace? The answer is, as much as you're willing to work for. 4 months of discipline can redefine who you are. It's not about changing everything overnight. It's about changing something every day. Little by little. The compound effect turns effort into excellence. But it all starts with one mindset shift. Stop wasting time. Stop saying, someday. Stop believing you have forever. You don't. Life isn't waiting for you to get ready. It's moving fast. Every minute of doubt is a minute you could have spent building. Every day you procrastinate is a day someone else is using to get ahead. And 4 months from now, you'll either be catching up or celebrating how far you've come. So make the next 4 months count like never before. Wake up earlier. Focus harder. Work smarter. Read more. Learn faster. Push yourself beyond what's comfortable. Because comfort will never give you what growth can. The pain of discipline is temporary, but the pain of regret lasts forever. You can choose to feel tired now or feel disappointed later. The choice is always yours. Time is the most valuable thing you'll ever have, and the one thing you can never get back. You can lose money and earn it again. You can lose people and meet new ones. But once time is gone, it's gone forever. So, treat every moment like it matters, because it does. Every choice, every second, every action, it all compounds into your future. 4 months. That's all it takes. 4 months of relentless focus can shift your entire reality. You'll either look back and say, I'm glad I did, or you'll look back and say, I wish I had. Both stories are written by time, but only one is written by you. Discipline is the quiet force that separates the successful from the stagnant. It's the line between potential and performance, between those who talk about their dreams and those who live them. Most people think they need motivation to move, but motivation is fleeting. It's like fire in the wind, bright for a moment and gone the next. Discipline is different. Discipline is the steady flame that keeps burning even when the world feels cold. It's what keeps you going when you no longer feel inspired, when nobody's cheering you on, when the results haven't yet shown up, but you still keep showing up. Imagine this. It's early morning. Your alarm rings, and your mind immediately gives you reasons to stay in bed. It's too early. You're tired. You'll start tomorrow. Motivation might fail you here. But discipline won't. Discipline doesn't negotiate. It executes. It whispers, "Get up. Do it anyway." That's where transformation begins. Not when you feel like it, but when you do it regardless of how you feel. The first few weeks of building discipline are brutal. You'll question yourself. You'll want to quit. Your mind will resist every new habit you're trying to create. It will remind you how comfortable the old version of you was, but comfort never created change. The real growth begins when you stop listening to your excuses and start listening to your vision. The only way to build discipline is to keep your word to yourself, even when it's inconvenient. When you do what you said you would do, day after day, you build trust with yourself. That self-trust becomes confidence, and that confidence becomes unstoppable momentum. Think of momentum like a wave. At first, it's small and fragile, barely noticeable. But every act of discipline, every time you wake up early, every time you stay consistent, every time you push through resistance, adds strength to that wave. And soon it grows into something powerful, something that carries you forward, even when motivation disappears. That's the beauty of discipline. Once you build it, it starts working for you instead of against you. By the second month of commitment, you'll notice something strange. What once felt like a struggle begins to feel normal. You no longer have to force yourself to show up. Showing up becomes part of who you are. You'll realize that you don't need to be motivated anymore, because momentum has taken over. You've built a rhythm, a flow, a lifestyle centered on growth and consistency. The mind that once doubted your ability now obeys your command. This is where the magic happens. When discipline becomes part of your identity, you stop counting days. You start counting wins. You begin to crave progress more than comfort. You start finding satisfaction not in what you achieve, but in the effort itself, because discipline changes the way you see the world. You stop chasing instant gratification and start appreciating long-term growth. You stop comparing your pace to others because you finally understand that your only competition is who you were yesterday. Most people misunderstand discipline. They think it's punishment or restriction, but in truth, discipline is freedom. It's the freedom to control your time, your habits, and your future. It's the power to say no to distractions and yes to destiny. Discipline doesn't limit you. It liberates you. It frees you from the chaos of inconsistency, from the regret of procrastination, from the pain of unfulfilled potential. When you are disciplined, you are in control. You are no longer a prisoner to mood or circumstance. And here's the secret. Discipline isn't about being perfect. It's about showing up when it's hard. It's about doing what needs to be done even when you don't want to. It's about resilience, not rigidity. Some days you'll fall short. Some days you'll feel drained. But every time you stand back up, you're training your mind to understand that quitting isn't an option. You're telling yourself, I don't need to feel ready to act. I act to feel ready. That shift is where power lives. Momentum built through discipline begins to overflow into every area of your life. Your relationships get better because you're more reliable. Your work improves because you're more consistent. Your health transforms because you no longer let excuses dictate your effort. Suddenly, everything around you begins to move in harmony with the energy you've created. You become the kind of person who inspires others, not by words, but by example. And then something incredible happens. You begin to love the process. What once felt like effort becomes joy. You start waking up with a sense of purpose. You no longer seek external motivation because the fire burns within you. You understand that discipline isn't a chore, it's a gift. It's the foundation of confidence, clarity, and control. It's what allows you to design the life you want instead of settling for the one you were given. The moment you embrace discipline fully, you'll realize it was never about the goal. It was about who you became on the way there. Because goals can be achieved and forgotten, but discipline stays with you forever. It becomes your armor against uncertainty, your compass when you lose direction, your strength when the world feels heavy. Discipline is the quiet voice in your soul that says, keep going, you're not done yet. So when the motivation fades, and it will, don't stop. When your energy dips, when your progress slows, when your mind tries to convince you that you're not built for this, remember this truth: discipline doesn't depend on emotion. It's not a feeling. It's a decision you make every single day to keep moving forward. And the more you honor that decision, the easier it becomes to win. The moment you stop relying on motivation and start trusting discipline, you unlock a version of yourself you've never seen before. The version that doesn't just dream of success, but creates it. The version that no longer needs to be pushed, because it pulls itself. That's the power of discipline. It's the bridge between where you are and where you want to be. Build it strong, and it will carry you anywhere you choose to go. Progress is a quiet revolution. It doesn't announce itself with fireworks or noise. It creeps in silently, transforming everything about you from the inside out. The world won't see it at first. They won't notice the long nights, the early mornings, the quiet sacrifices you make when no one's watching. But deep down, you'll feel it. It starts as a subtle shift, a small spark that says, I'm not who I used to be. And slowly, without realizing it, you begin to move differently, think differently, and believe differently. That's the power of progress. It doesn't scream, it whispers. But those whispers turn into confidence, and that confidence turns into strength. Most people give up because they expect results too quickly. They want instant transformation, visible change, validation from others. But real progress doesn't work that way. It's built in the shadows, crafted in silence, and revealed over time. The truth is, progress is not about what the world sees. It's about what you feel. It's the satisfaction of knowing you showed up today, even when you didn't want to. It's the pride in seeing tiny improvements that no one else might notice but you. And that's where greatness begins. Not in the applause of others, but in the quiet victories you celebrate alone. In the beginning, progress feels invisible. You'll wonder if your efforts matter. You'll question if the late nights and early mornings are worth it. You'll look in the mirror and see the same person staring back. But what you can't see yet is the foundation being built beneath the surface. You're rewiring habits, strengthening your mindset, shaping your resilience. The growth you don't see today is preparing you for the breakthrough you'll experience tomorrow. And when that day comes, it won't just change your results, it'll change your identity. Progress is like a seed. You plant it, you water it, you nurture it. And for a long time, there's nothing to show. But under the surface, roots are forming. The seed is alive, working silently, gathering strength. Then one day, it breaks through the soil, reaching for the sun. That's how progress works. It's invisible until it's undeniable. You might not see it every day, but it's always there, growing in the background, waiting for the right moment to bloom. And when the results finally begin to show, the world will call it sudden. They'll say you're lucky. They'll say you changed overnight. But you'll know the truth. It wasn't overnight. It was the accumulation of countless, unseen days of effort. The nights when you chose discipline over comfort. The mornings when you got up even when your body begged for rest. Every drop of sweat, every moment of doubt you conquered, every step you took in silence, built the momentum that now propels you forward. Progress changes not just how you act, but how you think. The same obstacles that once made you hesitate now excite you, because you know you can handle them. You stop seeing failure as the end and start seeing it as information. Proof that you're still in the game, still moving, still learning. You begin to appreciate the journey as much as the destination. You stop chasing perfection and start celebrating progress, because perfection is an illusion, but progress is real. Progress is measurable, tangible, powerful. It's proof that you are no longer standing still. There's something sacred about progress that others will never understand. It's deeply personal. It doesn't need validation, and it doesn't need attention. It's the look in your eyes when you realize you're becoming someone stronger. It's the quiet pride that builds when you see yourself choosing growth over comfort. You won't always get recognition for it, but you don't need it, because progress isn't about being seen, it's about seeing yourself evolve. As progress builds, it begins to create energy, momentum that pulls you forward even on the hardest days. You start to crave that feeling of advancement. You find joy in the challenge, because you understand that every obstacle is an opportunity to grow. And soon, what once felt impossible becomes effortless. You look back and realize how far you've come, how much stronger you've grown, how your standards have risen. You realize that the old version of you couldn't survive where you're standing now. That's not luck. That's progress. And here's the beauty of it. Progress isn't linear. It doesn't move in straight lines. Some days you'll feel like you're flying. Other days, you'll feel like you're crawling. But as long as you're moving forward, even an inch at a time, you're winning. Because progress is progress, no matter how small. One extra page read, one extra repetition, one extra step. These tiny actions, repeated consistently, compound into transformation. Over time, they become unstoppable momentum. When you're deep in the process, it's easy to doubt yourself. It's easy to feel like nothing's working. But remember, this progress doesn't always feel good. Sometimes it feels uncomfortable, uncertain, exhausting. That's because you're evolving. Growth demands discomfort. You can't become something greater while clinging to what's familiar. The tension you feel is proof, but you're expanding. It means you're stretching beyond limits that once held you back. Then, one day, without even realizing it, you wake up and something feels different. Your thoughts are clearer. Your confidence is louder. The things that used to intimidate you now excite you. You've changed. And not because of one big moment, but because of hundreds of small, consistent ones. That's the quiet victory of progress. It's not about being perfect. It's about refusing to remain the same. So when no one notices your effort, when the results seem far away, when it feels like you're running in place, keep going. Because what feels like stagnation is actually transformation in disguise. Every time you choose discipline over comfort, you're moving forward. Every time you show up despite fatigue, you're building momentum. Every time you do the work in silence, the universe takes note. Progress doesn't need to be loud to be powerful. It just needs to be consistent. Because in the end, the world might not remember the noise you made while you worked, but they'll never forget the person you became when the work was done. Imagine standing on the edge of who you were and looking out at who you are becoming. The fourth month is a pivotal moment, a turning point where all the effort, all the discipline, all the small, unseen choices you've made begin to merge into something undeniable. You start to notice subtle changes at first. A new energy in your step, a clarity in your thoughts, a quiet confidence that wasn't there before. People may not yet see it, but you feel it. The fourth month is when the invisible work you've been doing in silence begins to manifest, and it feels like stepping into a version of yourself you've only imagined in fleeting dreams. This month is where consistency meets visibility. Everything you've been doing, the early mornings, the sacrifices, the late nights, the small victories, begins to compound. Momentum grows, and suddenly what once seemed difficult starts to feel natural. Your habits are no longer a battle, they are a rhythm, a flow, a lifestyle that propels you forward effortlessly. The person who once struggled to stay disciplined now moves with purpose and intention, no longer waiting for motivation. Because momentum has become their constant companion. It's also the month when the external world begins to respond to your internal transformation. Opportunities start appearing that would have been invisible to your former self. People notice your focus, your confidence, your quiet strength. They might ask, "What changed?" But they won't understand the hundreds of unseen hours you've invested in becoming more than you were yesterday. By now, the foundation you've built is undeniable, and the results, however subtle at first, are beginning to ripple outward, affecting everything around you. In this fourth month, self-doubt and fear start losing their grip. They no longer dominate your decisions because you've proven to yourself, day after day, that you can show up even when it's hard. You've learned that discomfort is not your enemy, but a sign of growth, and resistance is simply a signal that you're moving in the right direction. The person you were at the beginning of this journey, the hesitant, uncertain version of yourself, is still there in memory, but no longer in influence. You've built a new identity, forged from consistency, perseverance, and relentless focus. The beauty of this month is in the clarity it brings. You begin to understand the power of compound effort. Every small action you took, every time you chose discipline over comfort, every challenge you faced and overcame, all begin to converge into visible progress. Your mind becomes sharper, your decisions more intentional, your actions more precise. You start operating on a level that once felt beyond reach, and the old limits that used to define you now feel like distant memories. Confidence emerges naturally in this stage, not arrogance, but quiet, unwavering belief in your ability to handle whatever comes your way. You no longer wait for validation from others, because you've validated yourself through action. You no longer fear failure, because you understand it's part of the process. Every misstep, every setback you encountered in the past 3 months has been transformed into knowledge, experience, and resilience. And now, that resilience is no longer theoretical, it's lived, felt, and visible in everything you do. The fourth month also teaches a profound lesson about identity. Change is not merely about what you do, it's about who you become. By now, you've internalized the habits, the discipline, the mindset shifts that once seemed difficult or impossible. They are no longer external acts you force yourself to do. They are expressions of your new self. You wake up early not because you have to, but because that is who you are now. You make deliberate choices because deliberate choices define you. You pursue growth because growth has become inseparable from your identity. This is the point where the results are not just physical or external. They are deeply internal. You feel a sense of alignment, a harmony between your actions and your purpose. You start noticing opportunities you might have ignored before. People respect your focus, and your environment begins to change to reflect the energy and clarity you've cultivated. The fourth month is where the transformation shifts from effort-driven to identity-driven. You're no longer doing the work simply to achieve results. You are the result. And as you move through this month, something remarkable happens. You begin to see the life you've always wanted, not as a distant dream, but as a tangible reality. You realize that the only reason you didn't reach it before was because you weren't ready to become the person capable of holding it. Now, in this fourth month, you've proven to yourself that you are that person. You've faced discomfort. You've conquered doubt. You've persisted when giving up would have been easier. The culmination of these months of effort creates a new standard of self-expectation, and nothing short of extraordinary will satisfy you now. Every choice, every small act of persistence, every time you decided to push through when it was uncomfortable, has brought you here. The fourth month is the reveal, not just of results, but of a new self. You carry the proof that consistency compounds, that discipline transforms, and that persistence builds character. You begin to realize that the life you imagined is not a fantasy. It's the inevitable outcome of the effort you've invested, and with this realization comes an unshakable momentum. You are no longer moving forward because you have to. You are moving forward because it is who you have become. The fourth month is the month where your old self recedes, and the new self steps fully into the light. You are no longer a person hoping for change. You are a person who has changed. You can feel it in your strength, your focus, your energy, your presence. You've built a new foundation, and from here, anything is possible. Time is the one resource that moves relentlessly forward, indifferent to our excuses, indifferent to our readiness, indifferent to our desires. It doesn't pause for doubt. It doesn't wait for motivation. And it doesn't ask for permission. Every second that passes is gone forever, slipping quietly into the past, never to return. And yet, most people treat time as if it is limitless, squandering hours, days, and weeks on distractions, procrastination and comfort, thinking there will always be more. But the truth is, time will pass anyway, whether you use it or waste it, whether you grow or stay stagnant. The question is not whether it will move forward. It is how you will move with it. Imagine standing 4 months from now and realizing that the days have slipped away, the weeks have gone by, and you are in the exact same place you are today. The opportunities you could have seized are gone. The growth you could have achieved never materialized. The person you could have become remains a distant dream. Time doesn't wait for clarity, courage, or perfection. It doesn't negotiate with indecision. It simply keeps moving, And those who succeed are the ones who learn to move with it, to harness it, and to turn its relentless flow into their ally. Most people fail to realize that every moment is an investment. Every hour, every choice, every action compounds, whether consciously or not. The hours you spend learning, creating, practicing, and improving multiply in value over time. Conversely, the hours you spend scrolling, avoiding, and procrastinating subtract from your potential. Time is impartial, but it rewards action and punishes inaction. You can't control the speed at which it moves, but you can control how you respond to it. The way you respond today determines the trajectory of your life tomorrow. The next 4 months offer a unique opportunity. They are long enough to create meaningful change, yet short enough that procrastination cannot be tolerated. What can you achieve if you commit fully to each day? How far can you push yourself if every hour is spent intentionally? You can rebuild habits, strengthen your mind, transform your body, and sharpen your focus. You can rewrite your story completely. But it will not happen by chance. It will happen because you treat time as your most precious asset and refuse to waste a single moment. Time is a mirror. How you spend it reflects the value you place on yourself, your goals, and your future. When you spend hours on meaningless distractions, it reveals a lack of discipline, a lack of urgency, a lack of respect for the life you could be living. When you spend hours on growth, on learning, on effort, it reveals a commitment to yourself and your future. Every choice you make is a vote for the person you will become, and over 4 months, those votes accumulate into a powerful declaration of identity. The harsh reality is that most people will look back in regret. They will wish they had started earlier, worked harder, or taken their potential more seriously. They will blame circumstances, luck, or time itself, never realizing that the same time they complain about was available all along. The difference between those who regret and those who achieve is not luck. It's the understanding that time is the ultimate equalizer. Everyone gets the same 24 hours each day. The winners are simply the ones who refuse to let those hours slip away unnoticed. Every day you wake up, the clock begins to tick. Every hour, every minute, every second counts. You cannot make up for lost time. You cannot pause it, rewind it, or reclaim it. You can only move forward with it, intentionally, purposefully, and relentlessly. When you realize this, procrastination loses its power, distraction loses its appeal, and excuses lose their hold. You start treating each moment as sacred, knowing that the accumulation of small actions creates monumental results. The power of time lies in its consistency. Time will pass whether you work or waste, whether you act or hesitate. But if you harness it consistently, the results are unstoppable. Every morning you show up, every task you complete, every step you take toward your goals compounds. It's invisible at first, subtle in its progress, but over weeks and months, it becomes undeniable. The habits you build today, the effort you put in today, the choices you make today, they are the foundation of the life you will live tomorrow. 4 months is both long and short. It's long enough to develop habits that will last a lifetime, but short enough that there's no room for delay. Every hour is precious, every decision critical. You can spend it passively and drift through the days, or you can spend it actively and transform your life. The moments you choose to ignore now are the same moments your future self will wish you had valued. The difference between stagnation and success is not time. It is how you choose to use it. When you commit to making every day count, something extraordinary happens. Momentum builds, energy increases, confidence grows. Each completed task, each deliberate action, each moment of focus reinforces your belief that you are capable of more than you imagined. You begin to operate on a higher level, not by luck, but by the deliberate use of time. Time becomes your ally, and your actions become unstoppable. The reality is simple: time is moving. The clock is ticking. You cannot control it, stop it, or reclaim it. What you can control is yourself, your choices, your actions, your focus, your persistence. If you decide to honor every hour, to commit fully to every day, and to act with urgency, 4 months from now, you will be unrecognizable to the person you are today. You will have built momentum that carries forward, skills that compound, habits that define you, and a mindset that propels you toward your destiny. Time does not wait. It does not pause. It does not forgive hesitation. It will pass. And the only question is whether you allow it to pass you by, or whether you harness it to create the life you want. Every second counts, every choice matters, and every action compounds. Treat time as the most precious resource you have, because it is, and the results of that understanding will define the trajectory of your entire life. So here's the truth: 4 months from now, you could be unrecognizable, mentally, physically, and emotionally. But it won't happen by chance. It will happen because you chose to show up every single day when it was easier not to. Imagine looking back after 120 days and realizing that everything changed because you decided to commit. The distractions faded. The fear dissolved. The noise stopped mattering. What remained was your focus, your growth, your power. You can either spend the next 4 months complaining, or you can spend them creating. Time will pass anyway. The question is, will you pass with it or rise above it? 4 months of fire, 4 months of focus, 4 months to change your life forever. This is Wisdom in Minutes Audiobooks. Transform your mind, transform your life. One choice, one day, one moment at a time.